Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the penultimate episode of our October Final Girl playthrough series, where we're going through all of these scenarios for Razorface. Now this episode is going to find us in the claustrophobic Marrek Warehouse, but before we get into the gameplay, let's find out why Razorface is tormenting this poor warehouse. Scenario 4, Inferno Gambit. Something reached out into the chasm between the material world and hell itself. A calling. Razorface could feel it ride through his bones, agony, revelation. Someone or something had given their soul away to him. He delighted in his passing through the labyrinth of the hellscape into the realm of mortals. He appeared in a dank warehouse, outfitted with traps and mechanisms of torture. He knew the place by sight alone. Razorface had always been aware of the tormentor. She was almost an acolyte of sorts, though she knew nothing of the pleasures which he could produce. Her warehouse would prove a wonderful place to find those who deserved the greatest punishments. Alright, so a little bit of an interesting intro, I thought. I never think of Final Girl like these killers live in the same world, like this horrific universe with all these killers running around. But it is cool to see the Tormentor mentioned in that. And of course, that is the kind of signature killer for the Marrek Warehouse. But poor Final Girl Mandy here, I guess maybe she survived the Tormentor, and now Razorface found himself coming into the Marrek Warehouse too. But regardless, we'll try to get out of this alive here. Now let's talk about our killer Razorface real quick. His main mechanic is going to be these different afflictions that we draw out at the beginning of the game, and we have to resolve these different purge requirements, and until we have gotten rid of all the afflictions, we can't get rid of his final health token. So the three we have starting here is that we need to achieve or use our ultimate ability. Either Razorface or us have to have only one health remaining, and we're going to have to discard a random card. So we're going to do that throughout the game, and once we get rid of all of them, then we can finally kill Razorface. Now, our new location is going to be the Marrek Warehouse, and this is actually a pretty straightforward location with a couple different things that are going to make the game just a little bit more difficult. First thing to mention out is that there's going to be 3 exits in the Marrek Warehouse: the main entrance, loading dock A, and loading dock B. Now, at the beginning of the game, they're all going to start locked. So they have these little tokens, little slots for them. Now, the way that we're going to be able to unlock these exits is that there are going to be specific tarot cards in here that are going to instruct us to unlock one of these exits. I think the idea is that the exits are on a timer, and as the longer the game moves on, they're starting to become unlocked. But we don't know which ones are necessarily going to be unlocked. There are also going to be items, like if we look at the bolt cutters up here, that are going to allow us to open up exits. So either we got to wait for the tarot cards, or we got to try to go get an item and unlock these. There's also some events and some other ways that might affect it, but primarily the tarot cards are going to be the only guaranteed way to get these unlocked, which is going to make saving victims all that much more difficult. Now, the other main feature of the Marrek Warehouse are going to be these red rack spaces, right? Kind of like representing shelving and kind of the more elevated spaces that you might find in a big warehouse. Now, this is going to require us to use some new action cards. So Climb and Leap are going to be specific to this set, and they are going to be the cards that allow us to move and interact with these rack spaces. So normally we cannot just move right onto a rack space. We have to use the Climb action. And what that's going to let us do is move to an adjacent rack spot. So we can see that there's 4 rack spaces, and as long as we're in any of those adjacent spaces, we can climb up on top of it. Now, the other action card is going to be Leap, and that's going to allow us to move from one rack space to any other rack space. So we could kind of jump across the map and kind of leap around. You'll probably also notice that this is a very dense map. There's a lot of connecting locations. It's a very, very kind of crunched and hectic map. And also kind of special to it is this middle spot called the Pit. And in this spot, you can see it has a ton of different panic spots. And when anything panics in the pit, we're going to have to roll 2 dice, and you add those together, and you're going to see there's a lot of different options for them to panic. There's also this forklift that's going to start on the map. If we can find the forklift keys, then we can do some cool stuff. But otherwise, it's just kind of there for show, I guess. The rack spaces are also going to interact with certain items. You can see the bowling ball here, that if the enemy is adjacent to the rack, we can drop a bowling ball on them and do a bunch of damage. So just be on the lookout for any of those little red rack spots, meaning things might interact with them. But mainly we're going to have to kind of manage climbing and leaping, because if you don't climb and leap, it's a really long time to get around here. You kind of got to use the racks to get around the map, or else it's going to be really, really difficult to save victims. And I'm particularly worried about that because one of our afflictions here, where we need to achieve our ultimate ability, we got 5 victims we got to save here. Let's talk about our final girl Mandy here, who has a shout out to the miniature with the chainsaw. Looks really, really cool. her ultimate ability is going to, we get to add 2 damage to attacks made without an item, or weapon or item. You cannot use this ability with reaction cards. So she just wants to kind of pummel her enemies with no weapons, which is really nice. Especially if we get something with like charges, then it's nice to have that as a backup of a way to do additional damage. But regardless, we want to get that ultimate ability because we have that affliction card there. Now, specific to our scenario here, we're going to be using our final girl Mandy. We have our setup, you're fired. We have the items. So the items are set up as normal, except we are going to start with a list of things in the ... which is going to allow us to roll a die, and then we get to reveal all of the items that are in whatever spout that we roll. The events are normal, the terror cards are set up specifically, and then the dark power and finale are also specific. And then for the special rules, it's just that we're going to start with this item in the game. Otherwise, pretty normal game for the Marrek Warehouse. So I think with all of that, we are ready to kick things off. And if you're enjoying this Final Girl playthrough, please consider liking and subscribing to join the channel. I do playthroughs and reviews and all sorts of board game content, and I would love to have you on board. Anyway, back to the Marrek Warehouse. Looking at where our kind of starting position is right now, the fact that we have the bolt cutters, which are going to let us open up locked locations or locked exits, I think that's going to be where I want to start. I think I'll start by trying to get a couple items, get those bolt cutters, and especially since we need to save victims, I think having a guaranteed way to activate those exits is going to be really important. So I think that's where I'm going to start with my focus. But we started with this item, and there's no reason not to use it right away. So I'm going to go ahead and use this, a list of things in the, and then we're going to roll a die, and then depending on the result, we're going to reveal all of the items in that specific location. And that's number 4, which is going to be the receiving area, which is this one down here. So the receiving area, and these have to stay in the same order. We just get to know what's in there. So on the bottom, we have odds and ends, which is going to be like a trap. They'll do damage when the killer enters the spot. We have the trash can lid, which lets us ignore damage. And we have the 2-way radio, which will let us move victims from farther away. And we have the bowling ball on top. So pretty cool items. I think the bowling ball is still my favorite. Being able to do 3 damage is pretty nice. But nothing like really making me run to the receiving area. I think I still want to prioritize the manager's office. And then on the supply cage, we have the whip over there, which when we do damage to an enemy, we're able to move them 1 spot. So that's also kind of nice to kind of corral him into specific spots. But I still think bolt cutters are number 1. And then we discard this when we use it. Just toss it off to the side. So I think let's go ahead and do this. I think we'll start pretty standard here. I'm going to pitch short rest and weak attack for 2 time. And I think I also might get rid of a walk for another time, because we should only need the 1 walk to go into the manager's office, and then we can get the search. So I think I'm going to stop there. We're going to go into planning, and I'm going to buy improvise for 3, which will take us to 6 time. I'm going to get search for 2 time, and now I'm going to get, I think, yeah, distraction for 3, and then close call for 1. So we'll try to get the horror level down a little bit, and then we can also try to get that item next turn, which would be nice. So we'll get rid of all of our 0-cost cards, put them back, and let's go into our first killer phase. So he is moving 1 spot and doing 1 damage. So left and the right spot both have 2 victims rather. I think this is closer to me, so I'm going to say he's going to go here, and he's going to kill this poor victim, which is going to increase our bloodlust. And that is all for his normal killer action. Let's see what the terror deck has for us. Ecstatic Torture. He's going to move towards victim or final girl and deal a damage. So he's already in the spot, so he'll kill this poor guy. He'll increase that, give us some more horror. I love being at the precipice of higher horror already. And then we're going to lose 2 times. So that's not a fun way to start our first turn. A little bit of a time deficit, but all right. All right, so that's kind of cut off already a group of victims. I was already kind of eyeing those guys because they were closer to us. But let's just get our items, and then we'll see where the victims are going to lay after that. We'll go into panic. He's killed everyone in his spot, so there is no one left to panic anymore. And we'll go ahead back into our action phase. So let's go ahead and start with improvise here. And we're going to roll 2 dice. And we're looking for a double failure is not what we're looking for. Yeah, I think I'll use close call here and burn 2 time. Man, losing that 2 time for ecstatic torture really sucks, but let's go ahead and see what we can get. So that is a single success and a partial. So distraction is extremely useful. I don't want to get rid of that. Search we need, walk we need. I could get rid of the 2 focuses, and then distraction, we have a good chance of making that a double success, and then we can walk and search. I think I'm okay doing that. I'm going to discard the 2 focuses. Improvise will be a double success. And so 3s and 4s are successes for the rest of our turn here. And so I think next we're going to play distraction, and then hopefully it's going to be worth the sacrifice of those 2 focus cards, and this could be a double success. And that is because we have the 3 and the 5. And so we're going to reduce horror by 2, and then we're going to gain 2 time. So we get to recuperate a little bit of that lost time from the terror card at least. Now let's go ahead and walk. And we just need a single success here, which is going to be a double failure, of course. I think I'm okay. I'm going to move 1 spot because I really want to get this item this turn. And then we're going to take a damage, and then we're going to lose 2 time. All right, now that we're in the manager's office, we just need a single success. So we'll go ahead and play that and try to get at least something. That's a double success with improvise. So we got to take the top 2 cards. So we could either take the bolt cutters, or we could take the first aid kit. Yeah, we're not going to take the first aid kit. So I'm going to go ahead and bury this, and we're going to keep the bolt cutters. So this is going to have 2 charges, and whenever we use it, we can either ignore a damage or we can unlock the exit space we're on. I imagine we're going to use this to be unlocking exit spaces because we need to go ahead and save some victims, which would be nice. All right, so that was a little bit of a tough action phase, a couple more failures than I was kind of hoping for, but at least we got that double distraction off, which will help us stabilize a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into our planning phase. We'll take our 0-cost cards. So we only have 2 time here. I think I'm just going to buy Sprint. I don't think I'm going to do anything next turn. It might just be a recuperation turn. But I think regardless of where we are, we're going to need to get some movement. And worst comes to worst, we can use Sprint and discard it and get these 2 cards. I'm not sure if I mentioned this during the little explanation, but these are getting during the action phase. Like during the action phase, discard walk to take this, or discard sprint to take this and the other one. So we get to take these during our action phase. We don't buy those during the planning phase. And I actually just noticed I made a very rookie mistake. I forgot to deal out a starting event card. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that just so we can have it out there. Smarter than they look. When a exit spot becomes unlocked, you may save any victims on that space, even if you are not there. So take the victim save benefits at the start of the next action phase. Okay. So actually there's no harm there because none of these have been unlocked. So I'm glad I remembered to do that before they started to get unlocked. Anyway, we just did our planning. So now we're going to go into the killer phase. Razorface is going to climb up onto the rack and kill this guy. And he's almost at his dark power already. And then we're going to go ahead and do a terror card, which is, oh my, there's 2 of these and they're right next to each other. That is so sad. Okay, ecstatic torture. He's going to move towards victim or final girl. I guess he'd move here because this is closer to other victims. He's going to climb down, kill this guy, reveal his dark power, which is life drain, which after we purge an affliction, we're going to lose a health, and Razorface is going to recover a health. And then we're going to lose 2 time. I was kind of hoping for this to be a recuperation turn, but that's really going to kind of put a wrench in that plan. But man, we're getting kind of slammed this game. I feel like he's already climbing up Bloodlust really quickly. Okay, no one's gonna panic, and it is back to us. And like I said, we have nothing to really guarantee successes. We don't really have much going for us right now. I think I might just kill these 2 cards and get 2 time and just go right into planning. And I'm just gonna pick up our free cards. I'm gonna pick up an improvise. And I think I'm just going to pick up a distraction. I kind of want to get down to 3 dice. And to that end, I think we're just going to buy those and stop our turn. So, all right, reset this. These little 0-cost cards can go back. And we are going to go back to Razorface. He's kind of just having his free reign right here. And he is going to run over to this guy, kill him, increase bloodlust. And we got another terror card, Violent Taste. He's going to move towards victim and kill. And what is he moving right now? 2 spaces. He's going to go 1 and 2. And actually, he's going to fall short there. If a victim was not killed, increase bloodlust, which is going to trigger horror to go up by 1. And it is now back to us. So I think we're going to go through. We're going to go for improvise again and try to maybe get this down to a reasonable horror level. All right, single success. So for this next roll, 3s and 4s are going to be successes, which is just going to be a single success. Man, we are just having a hard time here. We'll reduce horror by 1, and we're going to gain a time. And I don't know what I want to do, guys. I really don't. Man, I have some walks. I got a sprint. I have 2 focuses if I need to like get rid of them in order to get a double success, but I don't really feel good about this. If I got a double success sprint, I could go 1, 2, 3 into this spot and then use the bolt cutters on the main entrance. Maybe that's not too crazy. I think I'm going to do that. I want to get a little bit of motion here. So I'm going to use the sprint, and we could always get rid of the walks or the focuses. We just want some partials here. Yeah, get what I asked for. We get 2 partials. All right, I think that's okay. So I'm going to get rid of walk and focus, and I'm going to make the sprint a single success, which is going to let us move 2 spots. So I'm going to go 1 and 2. And we're going to hang out here with these 2 victims. And then next turn, I could use another walk, and I can go 1, 2, unlock the main entrance, and then my move 1 space ability, I could then go 1, 2, and save 3 of them, which I think is okay to do on the next turn. So I think we'll stop there. We're going to end the turn with a walk and a focus in our hand, and we have 6 time, right? Because I just spent 1 on the sprint. So 6 times pretty good, actually. Let's get our 0 cost cards, and then I think we're just going to get another distraction and another improvise, because I think we would be okay without the sprint, because I think with the bonuses we can just hop back and forth and be pretty good. So I think we'll stop there. Let's go ahead and reset these guys, and let's go ahead and let Razorface go. He's going to run down here to loading dock A, kill this guy, go up here, which is going to trigger an event. Scatter, panic all victims. Oh my gosh, okay, this could either go really well or really bad. So first things first, let's panic these 2 guys that are in this spot here, which is going to be 6 and 6. So they are both going to panic into the pit, which is closer to us, which is kind of nice. Let's do the 1 guy in the rack here, which is going to be a 2. So, ooh, actually, hold up. He's going to run down here, and then we have to panic the 1 in the spot there next to the main entrance, which is a 3. So he's actually going to join our spot. And then we have to panic the 2 that were in our space to begin with, and they're getting a 2 and a 1. So they're going to go nowhere. Oh, no, 2. 1's going to go here. And then we have a 1, and actually this spot has no 1 here. So he's going to stay there. Oh, this is actually so good. That was actually a very, very good event card. Thank you, Razorface. Always nice when the victims decide to panic in a place that you actually want them to every now and then. All right, before I get too ahead of myself, we still have a terror card to do. So he's going to go ahead and flip this over. I think I saw the killer, and then we're going to increase horror by 1. And then he's going to move towards victim and attack, and he's moving 3 now. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he can get there. So he's going to go 1, 2 into the pit. Oh my god, it's a bit of a bloodbath in the pit. He's going to attack and kill there. God, he's already at the top of his bloodlust track. That's crazy. All right, horror is already at 6. Oh my goodness, I feel like this is spiraling out of control. Okay, he's going to kill that guy, increase that, and then we're going to go into panic phase. So 1 more panic here. And since we're in the pit, we have to roll these 2 and then add them together. So he's going to panic into the 3 spot, which is going to be diagonal onto this rack here. And oh my god, we need 5 freaking people to save ourselves, which really sucks. It's going to make it really awkward to get to that guy. Man, I don't think we're going to have enough victims to save, unfortunately, but let's see where things stand. All right, I think it's back to us. Let's start things off with improvise. Man, can I get no stars? No stars this game. I'm going to reduce... I'm going to discard weak attack and short rest for a single success. We're going to go for it again. We're just going to get a distraction here just to try to level out a little bit. All right, at least that's a double success. So we got to reduce horror by 2 and give us 2 time. And I really... Oh man, this feels really bad. Yeah, if we do this walk, it's just going to be purely like hoping for the best right now. Because we actually... we have nothing to discard. We have 1 focus, but that's really not going to help us. So if we wait, Razorface is going to come to our spot because we have 2 victims in it. I don't think it's worth rolling the walk and just hoping for the best. Maybe it is. Like, even if it's a failure, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, alright, let's just do it. Like, this is bad Final Girl, just so you guys know. Like, you should never make those rolls and just hope for the best. But I think in this case, like, even if it's a failure, like, he's going to move to our spot anyway. I don't think it's that big a deal. So let's just hope for the best. Stranger things have happened. Single success, which is actually not that bad. Because we can move 1 space here. We'll have 4 victims in this spot. And that will at least put us farther away. He'll want to go to this victim. So at least we could save these 4. So actually not too bad. And we spend the time for the walk. And we'll just hold on to the focus in our hand for now. All right, let's go into planning. I think we're done with our actions. Take the 0 cost cards. I think we're going to spend 6 time on distraction and improvise. And then we'll buy a close call. Because we only need the 1 success walk, and we can get to the main entrance, and then we could do our stuff there, which shouldn't be too tough to do. So, all right, let's go ahead and reset everything. And let's let Razorface go. I keep on calling him Terrorface for some reason, which is what it feels like in this game. But all right, he's going to go up here, climb on the rack, kill this guy. He's going to recover health. He's at max health, and we have to discard the next terror card, which is upsetting. Maybe not upsetting. I don't know. We'll see what the next one is. And we are going to go ahead and do his terror card, which is Click. Okay. Loading dock A is now unlocked. So we're going to unlock loading dock A. Then we have to reveal an event card. Help on the racks. Panic all victims in... Oh my god. Panic all victims in spaces adjacent to rack spaces, but only move them if they panic into a rack space. Repeat this process until at least 2 victims have moved onto a rack space, or until there are no victims in spaces adjacent to rack spaces. So, man, this is all coming apart. So we got to roll... we have to panic all 4 of these because they're all adjacent. So I'm just going to roll 4 die, and we'll move them all accordingly. Oh, yeah, there are the double successes. So we have a 5, a 6, a 3, and a 3. Panic all victims in spaces adjacent to rack spaces, but only move them if they panic into a rack space. So the 3 and 3 would not panic because this is not a rack space, but the 5 and the 6 are going to move these guys into the rack space. So there we go. They're going to go right there. Okay, it could be worse, but we do have to draw the next terror card, so maybe it won't even matter. Oh, another, oh my goodness, this is getting out of control. Click, loading dock B is now unlocked, so we have to unlock loading dock B, which is going to trigger another event card. Tumbling boxes. Place the 4 severed head tokens in 4 different non-adjacent spaces. Do not place them on rack spaces. When you move into a space that has a token, increase horror and then remove them from play. Okay. So, of course, they had some severed heads in this warehouse. This is kind of how you do it. So I'm going to put one here, 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 and here. So it gives me enough wiggle room to move around the map and hopefully not have to encounter them. But since it was Click, we have to do another one. And of course, I swear I shuffled them. Click, the main entrance is now unlocked. Get rid of this. This one actually does not have another event card. We do have to draw the next terror card. And so all that time that I spent getting the bolt cutters was useless because all 3 of those happen to be right next to each other. Sadistic manifestation. Place Razorface with the farthest victim. 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, this is 2 spaces with the final girl, so I'm going to say he's going to prioritize us here. So he's going to move there, and he's going to attack twice. Kill these 2 guys. Increase bloodlust by 2, which is going to discard the next 2 terror cards. Oh man, this is not this is not looking like a good game. Yeah, we are not going to be able to do that to save our victims. That was a lot of time I spent on victim management for him to just come and slice through all of them. Oh man. Okay. That was a crazy killer phase there. I think that's it, right? Not going to panic. No upkeep. I think it's going to come back to us. I mean, I don't even know if I care about saving any victims. I think we just got to like buckle down and try and I think we're just going to have to just try to fight them. I don't know. It's going to be real tough. I think we can't do this, right? This is impossible. Achieve or use our ultimate ability. There's not enough victims on the map to do it, so I think this is going to get discarded, and we'll do another one. Save 3 or more victims at the same time. This is impossible because there's not 3 victims on the board. Lamb to the slaughter. When you would save a victim, it is killed instead. So this one is possible to do, though. So we will leave this one out. And I think I'm just going to get rid of the bolt cutters because he's already in our spot. So I'm going to discard the bolt cutters to satisfy the You Call, I Come affliction. And the purge effect is place some in our space. He's already in our space. So I am totally fine with that. Woo! Okay, it is back to us. I really don't know what I really want to do. I kind of want to go to the supply cage and just get the whip because I would like to have any weapon, which would be kind of nice. But let's go ahead and start things off with a improvise. Single success. So next one, 3s and 4s. I think, yeah, distraction is going to be the most useful. Let's go ahead and roll this. That's going to be a double success. So we're going to reduce horror by 2 and then gain 2 time. We almost have 3 dice. So, like, that's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, let's play focus. Let's see if we can get a single success here and get us into 3 die territory. All right, that's a double fail. Let's go ahead. I'm going to close call that. Come on, man. That's a partial. Man. All right, yeah, I'm going to discard 2. I'm going to make that a single success, which is going to decrease this by 1, give us another die, and we're going to lose a time. All right, let's go into planning. Let's get our 0 cost cards. And I think retaliate. Let's buy retaliate. I think that's going to be pretty critical and trying not to totally get ourselves killed. The one bright side of all this is that there is no guaranteed way for him to increase horror, at least, unless some of the tarot cards do it, but trying to find any type of silver lining. And actually, we had 1 time left over. We had 5 time. We spent 4 on retaliate. I'll just spend 1 on close call. So that is all good. Okay, killer phase. He's in our spot, so he's going to attack us for 4 damage. We're going to drop down retaliate. And a single and a partial. On a partial, we would reduce it by 2 and deal 1 damage. I think I'm okay with discarding 2. I'm going to discard 2. We're going to block all damage, and then we'll deal 2 damage back to him. And now let's go ahead and do a tarot card here. Bop. The killer could be anywhere. Increase horror for each space between you and the killer. Do not count your space or the killer space. So we're going to increase it by 0 because the killer could not be anywhere, actually. He is actually just right behind us. So, and then he's going to attack Final Girl. So we are going to take 4 damage. Sick. Love that. Which at least lets us get rid of this affliction. You or Razorface only have 1 health remaining. Purge effect, discard an item card. If I don't have one, end the action phase. So we could always do that at the end of our turn and just end the action phase and not feel too bad about it. But in any case, tarot card done. Panic phase is not happening, and it is now back to us. And somehow I ended up with just 2 cards in my hand. How does that happen? Oh, we actually have a 4th die. We have our adrenaline die. So maybe rolling 4 die, our odds will increase a little bit. Okay, with all that being said, I think we're going to play walk. We're going to try to get into the supply cage and lick our wounds there while Razorface goes after these 2 people. So, again, just a single success. There we go. Okay, we can move 2 spaces. Yeah, I think I'm still going to do that. I'm going to move into the supply cage, and we're going to spend a time for that. And I think we're just going to stop there. At the end of our action phase, I'm going to purge this. So you or Razorface only have 1 health remaining. Discard an item card of your choice. If you do not have one, end the action phase. So we're at the end. I'm going to discard this. And it's going to force our action phase to end, which is totally fine. Now I'm going to go into planning. And we're going to spend 4 time for the 2 searches. And 1 time for the close call. Oh, and get all of our 0 cost cards. Oops, as I drop my 0 cost cards. All right, let's go into our killer phase. Razorface is going to eye these 2 victims that are hiding on the rack and go up here and attack one of them. And he's going to regain a health. And then he is going to discard the top terror card. So, yippee, he has no more terror cards. We're going to go into the panic phase. So he's going to panic this one victim. Where is this guy going to end up? Number 4. He is going to go run over here. Good, good. Lure him away from us, please. And he is moving 4, so it probably won't matter too much. And now during upkeep, no more terror cards. We're going to reveal the finale, which is Chains of Torment. When Razorface enters a space with at least one victim, increase horror. So again, if there's some bright side, there are at least no more victims on... Oh, there's only one victim. So at least he won't get too much use out of Chains of Torment, which is okay. But his normal action is now moving and then attacking twice, which is not great. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead with our plan to do some searching here. So let's go ahead and search and see if we can't get something good in the supply cage. Come on. Single success. So we're going to take the top card and we'll go ahead and equip that and spend time. And actually, hold on. I don't need the walk, right? Yeah. I'm actually going to discard the walk and the focus. So it's a double success search. And I'm actually going to go ahead and reveal these two. So we could take the whip, or we could take the chainsaw. So the chainsaw deals 3 damage. The chainsaw may not be used to modify reaction cards. When you use the chainsaw, add the end action phase effect to the end of the action result card. Okay. Yeah, you gotta take the chainsaw when you can get it, right? So I'm gonna take that. It's gonna be kind of like we're gonna get one big attack and then we're gonna be forced to end our turn, but it could be really cool. And I think we're just gonna use the other search. We're here. Let's just do it. See what else is in the supply cage. That's gonna be a double success. So we'll see what the other 2 items here are. So we could take Mandy's chainsaw, or we could take the megaphone. I bet you guys can guess which one we're going to take. We're going to take Mandy's chainsaw. So same thing. The chainsaw may not be used to modify reaction cards. You may not use this weapon until you lose 2 health to cut off your hand and attack. What the hell? Wait, you may not use this weapon until you lose 2 health to cut off your hand and attach the chainsaw to your arm. So we don't have 2 health to lose right now. So we can't actually we can't use this chainsaw yet. I think we're going to. All right, yeah. Okay, let's equip Mandy's chainsaw. That's fine. And I think we'll heal the health eventually, and then we'll attach the chainsaw to us. So that Mandy's chainsaw totally threw me off. I wasn't thinking about healing, but now that kind of makes me want to gain 2 health. What is short rest? Yeah, the short rest heals 2 health. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Also, I need to spend the time for that search. I didn't do that. All right, and then before we end our action phase, I'm actually going to spend a focus, because when he enters this spot, he's going to increase horror, which is going to force us to lose our die. I don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and roll that. Oh, are you kidding me? 3 partials? Come on. All right, screw it. I'm going to use close call. I'm going to reroll all these. All right, single success, which is going to decrease horror by 1, and we're going to lose a time. All right, that's fine. All right, let's go into planning. We'll take our 0 cost cards, and we actually don't have enough time to buy anything, so that is fine. Let's go ahead and reset these guys. It's going to be Razorface's turn. He's going to run down here. We're going to increase horror because of his finale there. Oh, shoot. Shoot. Oh, man, I've messed this up. Oh, man, guys. I realize life drain. I've gotten rid of 2 of those afflictions, and I haven't lost health for it. This is probably going to be a loss already, but it probably should have been a loss earlier, because I got rid of 2 of them, and I don't think I had health to pay for them at that time. So, sorry, this has been kind of a crazy game, so my bad, I forgot to do that. But the last one, I will remember to do that when it comes to it. In any case, he's going to kill this victim, which he's now going to heal a health, so he is back at full health. All right, it is back to us. And because there's no more victims, this is now impossible to do, so we'll remove this deal another one. Okay, Gift of Pain, deal at least 3 damage to Razorface in 1 action phase. And the purge effect is going to be lose a health. Alright, I don't see a way forward here, but I want to use this chainsaw one way or another. So we're going to use short rest. Let's go ahead and roll this. Double success. And we're going to recover 2 health. Alright, I'm kind of spinning out here. But the smarter thing to do would be to not lose 2 health in the chainsaw. And use the regular chainsaw. And just hold off. Nah, screw it. Let's do the fun thing. Alright, we're going to take 2 damage. Alright, so we took the 2 damage. We're going to attach the chainsaw to our hand. And we're going to be so ready to deal some damage to Razorface. This is so goofy. I'm going to discard a card for a time. And let's go ahead into our action phase. We got to buy Retaliate for 1, 2, 3, 4. And we got to buy Guard for 2. We'll buy Close Call for 1. And we'll reset that. And we'll reset these cards. Yeah, the fact that he's going to deal 2 attacks every turn, I don't think there's a way we're going to be able to weather this, unfortunately. But, I mean, maybe if we get long rest, we could heal up one of his attacks, which might be okay. But, yeah, this is looking kind of dire, to be honest, guys. But, okay, we're going to go into Killer Phase. So he's going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, and he's cornering us in the supply cage. There is nowhere else for us to run. But we are going to retaliate, which ironically our chainsaw is not going to modify because it doesn't modify reaction cards, but is what it is. That's going to be a double success. So we're going to block all of that damage and deal 2 to him. 1 and 2. And then he's going to do his second attack for his finale there. So we're going to roll a guard. We need a double success here. We're going to block all the damage. All right. No, we're cooked, I think. I think it's over. Actually, no, we could have the final health token. I gotta hold out hope for the final health token. We're gonna go into our upkeep phase. Do I want to switch out the chainsaw? No, I've put so much effort into Mandy's chainsaw, we're not getting rid of it. All I have is weak attack in my hand. So, like, I guess, why not? Let's attack him. We kinda want to do some damage. Come on. Double success. We're going to do 1 damage plus 3 for the chainsaw. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got to put up a good fight. You know, even if we die, got to do as much damage as we possibly can. All right, so we just did, you know, at least 3 damage. We could purge this and maybe flip over that, but I think I'd rather hold off and, like, because this next killer phase, he's going to attack us twice. We can only get 1 guard, so we're going to have to take the attack. So it kind of comes down to this either is a extra health token, and we're going to get a little bit of an extra push, or not. All right, let's go into the next planning phase. I think I'm going to buy Guard for 2 time. I guess I'm going to buy Furious Strike. It really doesn't matter at this point, because I'm going to deal 3 damage. It's not going to go through because we can't reveal his final health token. We're just going to have to do it to do this, which kind of sucks. But yeah, we need a way to do damage. So I'm going to buy Furious Strike for 4. Which will be all of our time, and then just grab our 0 cost cards. Okay, so we're gonna go into the killer phase. We only have one guard, but even if we block the first attack and the second one kills us, it kills us. So we're better off just eating this attack. And if we can get adrenaline, it'll end the killer phase, and we may have a way to win this. So Razorface is gonna hit us with some chains here, and oh, no, Mandy was swinging. She went through that pain of, like, attaching the chainsaw just to get taken down in the supply cage. But, you know, I think we put up a good fight. And just out of curiosity, Razorface also had that. So that could have been real close. If we had a little bit of extra push there, we may have had some hope for us. But having the killer do 2 attacks on their turn, it makes it real tough. Because we only have 3 reaction cards, right? So you can only block up to 2. Before we had to cycle them through, so it just makes it really tough. And like I said, I think we would have lost earlier or been even, like, more behind because of the life drain. So unfortunately, we had a little bit of a winning streak there during the last 2 games, but the Marrek Warehouse was too much for us here. I think with the affliction cards forcing us to go after victims, I was, like, really hyper focusing on that. and I almost wonder if I should have let the victims died and just let that affliction, just go out. Because I spent a lot of time trying to get them next to the entrance, getting the bolt cutters, going through all these rings to try and get them. But I almost wonder if I just was trying to get some weapons earlier, just kind of gear up faster, that would have been the smarter way to go about it. I think early on I wasted too much time doing the victims and trying to save them. And we just weren't able to get that final push, and he was just able to kill him way too fast. And the extra salt on the wound of those click cards coming out super early, and the fact that I didn't even need that item. But again, you never know, right? They're on randomized timers. They're all shuffled in there. So overall, this was a little bit of a heartbreaking game, if I'm being honest. This was tough. I was kind of flying high after the last 2 sessions, but it's always nice to get a little bit of a humbling experience in Final Girl. But hey, I had fun. If nothing else, we got to attach a chainsaw to our arm, which in my book always means a little bit of a victory, regardless of how this outcome came. So sorry, Mandy. Her final resting place is the Marrek Warehouse here, and this one will go to Razorface. So actually, we are tied 2-2 going into the last game. So be sure to tune into the finale, where we're going to be going to the sandworm-infested town of Utopia for our last bout against Razorface. I'd like to thank everyone who has been joining me through this playthrough series. It's been a lot of fun. It's been nice to see a lot of good reception in the comments, which I really appreciate. I had some feedback to use the little wooden tokens instead of the big chunky plastic ones, because I think they appear a little bit better. So hopefully that was a little bit more clear for you guys to see. And overall, still had fun regardless of the loss there. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.